So there is no best place in America to invest. There's a best place in America to invest every year. And that's what our location magic or real focus system is based on. So as I started investing, I realized I needed to create a system that I could use. And early on, it was just me. Now we have 29 employees, so we have a lot of people just crunching numbers all day. But back then, I needed a way to figure out the best cities to invest in America, and I needed to be a straightforward system, not a black box, but a straightforward system. And we came up with something, and it had 17 different parameters, and we still use versions of it now. But then I was like, what if I wanted to give this away to other people, right? People that don't have to buy anything from me, don't have to get a subscription, they don't ever have to come back and ever talk to me again or my people again, but something that's valuable. What if I wanted to give it away? Then I realized I need to actually simplify it. It's still complex, but it's fairly simple. So my goal was someone should be able to pick up a random city that you've never heard of. You go to a party and some people are discussing some city called Killeen, Texas. And you're like, Killeen, Texas. Okay, I want to know if Killeen's a good place for real estate investment. And not just that, I want to know, how does it compare with 5 other random cities that I heard about in last week's party, right? Mm-hmm. So you want to be able to compare and contrast these cities together and give them objective scores in terms of how good they are for real estate investment. So with that in mind, we basically went and started to implement such a system. I hired both a person to scrape, websites from the web. I hired a person that is a statistician. So I'm a data scientist. So these statisticians basically start taking large data sets and sticking them into a software called R, all with the goal of figuring out what really matters when it comes to profit. Because the only thing we cared about was one thing: what creates the most amount of real estate profit, both in the short term, the medium term, the long term? What are those factors? And how do they change? How do they change over time? And so we put in all kinds of factors, and some of them you might think about, like school scores and population growth and job growth and income growth and home price growth. So we threw in, the kitchen sink at it. And then we started looking at the profits that investors made and tried to figure out which ones of those factors correlated the most to profit. Where was the correlation the highest, and where was the correlation the most? We also looked at, okay, maybe schools are highly correlated to real estate profit. But if I remove schools and I put in this other factor, maybe I get the same correlation, in which case I don't need the schools. I can take them out because the other factors are basically adjusting for it, right? Let's say you have high quality of schools, you probably also have incomes going up, you have job growth happening there. So maybe those are just for schools, right? So those are the sort of things we were thinking. So we kind of throw lots and lots of things at it. We come up with like 50 different versions of it and see what actually leads to the maximum profit. And then we do something really important. That's called back testing. So we look at the profit that's been made in 100 cities over the last 10 or 15 years, and we say, okay, we think these are the best factors. Okay, let's apply them to that back testing and see what percentage of the time they work. And maybe they work 95% of the time. Then we go back and change our formula, and now it works 97% of the time, which is an awesome number, right? So that's what we were doing. And we eventually settled with 5 factors. And disclaimer, this is a free system. It's kind of like Wikipedia, or, it's something free that we are giving away. You never have to come back to us. Every year we update it, so you can come to our website and grab it and go away. You never have to buy anything. There's never any subscription. There's never going to be any subscription in the future. I can say that in public, because it was never really designed to hook somebody into a system. It was designed to give people an easy way to figure out the best places to invest. So we came up with a system that has 5 parameters. In the future, it might have 6, or it might have 4. Data changes our mind all the time. And I'll give you the 5 parameters, and then I'll give you examples of those parameters. They're very specific. Any city that you invest in should have a certain amount of population growth, a certain amount of job growth, a certain amount of income growth, a certain amount of home price growth, and a certain reduction in crime. Okay, so we're looking, for a city to have these 5 things. And you might say, well, yeah, most cities have those things, Neal. Yes, but we're looking for specific amounts of those things. Okay, we're looking in all 5 categories. We're looking for the amount of each of those metrics that makes that city significantly above average.